Patriots rank first in fewest yards allowed per carry. What makes them so good?
They do such a unique job that it's they got such a clear vision for how they want to utilize each player and understanding. Regardless of injuries or whatnot, the guys have defined roles, and they understand, hey, when they're going into this week, hey, this is what we need to stop, and they do a great job at it. It's as good of a defense as we're going to face or we faced all year, and so it's a great opportunity for us. But we got to know that they're going to make you earn every single yard.
Curious, when you look back at what happened in the Chargers game with Gabe having the game he did, coming off a couple of games where he and Josh just weren't connecting or he wasn't seeing that number of targets, why did it work last week? What particular worked with that connection?
Yeah, I think one, it just kind of speaks volume to who Gabe Davis is as a person, right? I played wide receiver. Obviously, I wasn't any good, but you want to get touches, you want to get the ball, and you want to feel like you can help the team. And, just for whatever reason, whether it's the Dallas game where we're just running the ball a lot, some of the balls just didn't naturally go his way, but he didn't blink. He showed up to practice, unbelievable work ethic, just kept working. And him and Josh were able to just connect like they always do, and then they're on the same page. And we don't win that football game without Gabe Davis, but like I told him, I said, we don't win that football game without you having that mindset that you had of that competitive stamina of hey, it wasn't going my way, but my opportunity is going to come. And he made the most of it, and I was extremely pleased and proud of how he handled that.
How have you seen Steph, you've been in this role now for 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it's been, the production like he had earlier in the season just hasn't been there. How have you seen him handle that as you guys have tried to work him into things?
Look, Steph's been unbelievable. I mean, that C on his chest matters to him. And I think just the offense in general, all they care about is winning football games. And it's been really fun to see. And the guys in the locker room, the reality of it is there only is one football, and all we're concerned with is finding ways to win that football game. And whether it's run the ball like we did against Dallas, whether it's find a way to get one more point like we did this past week, you go into the locker room and everyone's happy, and that matters to me. Steph Diggs does so much even when he doesn't have the ball. Obviously, you want to get him as many touches and you want to get him every catch that you can, but there's so many things that he's opening up windows, and Khalil Shakir's, James Cook's, he's doing so much without the football. That he's doing it doesn't necessarily always show up in the stat book, but he hasn't once blinked. He's just showing up to work, and he's been great. All he cares about is winning football games, and I know he helps us win football games.
Has there been a plan going into the games the last 2 weeks to kind of bring his snap count down a little bit, or is that something that happened naturally within the games?
Well, I think last week, just in general, I think we only played 52 plays. Last week, the numbers were going to be down for everybody, and I think that was just a product of the way that we were playing. So I don't think that wasn't anything intentional with him. I know he got nicked up a little bit on the first play of the game, but I think some of that was just the way that the game kind of was being played.
Even still, with the number of snaps being down by percentage, it was lower too. So, how much did the injury play into that, if at all?
Look, I think, we go into games and, we tag plays, with getting guys. The reality is Gabe Davis, Steph Diggs, no matter who it is at wide receiver, to be able to sustain success throughout the season, be able to play, they can't play every play. And so there's certain times where it's hey, it's going to be better for this person to not be on the field this play, just to give them a blow, knowing that, hey, this one's going to be coming, or, hey, that's the reason we have a bunch of wide receivers. And so knowing that some of that stuff just kind of played out that way.
While he may be opening things up for other people, does he need to actually be getting the ball more for this offense overall to reach its full potential?
Yeah, yes. Any given time you get the ball to Steph Diggs, good things happen. But like I said, we're just trying to find ways to win that football game and whatever it is. Fortunate the last couple of weeks we've been able to do that. If that's getting him 10 catches and we win the football games, or him getting 2 catches and we win the football games, he's going to be the same way. Obviously, he's our best football player. He's our best receiver, and you want to get him involved. Because it makes us better and it allows us to continue to move the chains. But whatever we got to do to win that football game, we're going to try to do our best to figure that out.
Joe, you've had Knox back for 3 games now. What have you learned now as you're the play caller? What have you learned about what he does well in the pass game and what routes he's comfortable with?
Yeah, fortunately, regardless of just being the quarterback coach, you kind of get a feel of kind of who Dawson is, and it brings such a unique skill set to just to combine that with Dalton and Q. And then, just his improvement in the run game just from, what he was prior to even when I got here, and just seeing the growth that he's been in that just allows him the versatility to be able to keep him out on the field, no matter the route, no matter the run play, pass play, and it makes my life a lot easier calling plays with that. But, the first play of that last drive this past week, just seeing him, just the confidence in him and him being able to get off the release and make that play. I mean, we have full confidence in Dawson of, whatever we're going to call, he's going to find a way to get it done.
You've had probably sufficient time now to sort of settle into the role. With Sean on a weekly basis, obviously he's got his hands full calling the defense and working on that side of the ball, but how involved is he in the week leading up to a game with the offensive game plan, if at all?
He just has, as all head coaches, great communication. He has clear expectations of what he wants. He allows us to do our job. And he's been clear, since I've had the job, since going into the offseason, about what he looks for into this for this offense. If there's something that's not the way he sees it, or he sees on tape, hey, I've been watching this defense, and these are some things that I think might give him the fits. He'll chime in with that, and I would greatly appreciate that. I walk down to his office and be like, hey, how would this give you trouble? So just that dialogue, that communication, it's been great.
Last week we talked about how Josh is having more fun. He's having fun out there right now playing football, and he's having some joy with it. Something you said. Is there anything in particular he's doing behind the scenes that you're seeing him have that fun with it? Maybe more than earlier in the season, or maybe it's been there, but is there anything that stands out to you?
No. One thing about Josh is his approach. He's not going to let results dictate his mindset and his approach. When we lose a football game, he showed up on Monday with the same "I'm ready to go for this week" mindset, and you kind of have to do that so the guys kind of can follow you. And we've been winning. We've won these last 3 games, but his approach, his mindset, he's been just as consistent as can be. I think it's obviously led to some success, but nothing's changed in the way that he kind of approaches everything, and I'm proud of him for that.
Joe, a couple of times in the last game, you had Fournette and Cook on the field at the same time. What kind of flexibility does that give you, run and pass?
Yeah, I think anytime that you could continue mixing in personnel groupings that, hey, maybe a defense hasn't seen, or get a defensive coordinator to have to hesitate for a second of what call they want to do, or they have to spend time game planning for a potential personnel grouping that you might not even put in the game, making them have to kind of game plan for. And we're not just calling plays to call plays. There's intent behind it, just like there's intent in all of our plays. It's not like, hey, let's just run this play so, a team has to game plan for it. I'm not saying that, but just trying to find ways to get our best football players on the field, and that we feel like it'll be an advantage for us against, said look of a defense.
The Patriots switch things up in the red zone, so how do you guys rep that in practice and make sure that you don't let that get in the way of what you guys want to do in the red zone and get the favorable matchups that you guys want?
Yeah, I think it's they do such a great job when you get in. Like I said, they make you earn it all the way down. You get in there. And then once you get in there, it switches up a little bit. I think the biggest thing is just focusing on ourselves, and us just understanding, hey guys, everybody need to do their job on the play, and just trust, hey, if this is your route, you run this route. Josh, just work yourself through the progressions, find your answers, instead of making it necessarily all about them and what they're doing defensively, of kind of just making it about us. I think is the most important thing.
You're number 1 in the red zone in the league. Obviously, Josh. We've had some good schemed up plays, the Cook pass, but just kind of what do you attribute most to the fact you're leading the league in the red zone?
Look, I think when you have 17 at quarterback, you feel like whatever you call he's gonna find a way to get it done, and it makes life a lot easier. And the way that we've been able to at least run the ball in some of the games makes it a little easier as you're getting down there, as you feel like you don't have to just pass the ball every single snap, but that you have 17 in there, and if you have to pass it, he's going to find a way to, if it's not clean, playoff schedule and keep it going. So I wouldn't attribute it to anything other than our guys are just trusting that when they get down there, they have the mindset that we want to finish these drives. We've had some games this year where we've kicked field goals down there, and so it's kind of just not necessarily flipping the mindset, but just making sure we're locked in and knowing that, hey, we want to come away with 7 right here.
What did you see from Leonard Fournette against the Chargers?
It was so good. It was good to see him out there. The same guy that we've seen in practice every week. He's going to play it. He's going to play. As hard as he can be. You're going to feel him running the football. Naturally, I would have liked to, just in general, everybody had more than, we ended up having like 4 drives or 3 drives, or it was only 1 or 2 plays, so you couldn't get guys into a rhythm last week, which was a little frustrating. But I was pleased with the way that, just him just being able to pick up this offense. And I know he's been there for, call it half a year right now, but I mean, it's not easy to learn and be able to go in there, without playing meaningful football and take return a kick, then get a couple carries. He's playing just like we expected him to.
Small things being equal, do you anticipate maybe getting him the ball a little bit more down the stretch here?
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a week to week, we kind of evaluate hey, how do we feel like it matches up versus team, and as games go, hey, what's it going to take to win that football game? Sometimes it might be getting this guy a carry. Maybe it's getting these guys, getting James more than this, or hey, we got to throw it more to win this football game. So as opposed to, kind of thinking like that, we just kind of think it, a game specific mindset and kind of go from there.
You go back, the last 4 seasons, an extra offensive lineman jumbo package has always been kind of a part of this offense. David Edwards coming out last week, having the snaps that he did, and just watching him out there like run in motion. I mean, what goes into finding the right piece for that kind of deal with a different job for an offensive lineman like that? And how has David handled it all?
I mean, David's first class as it gets. We were watching his high school highlight tape a couple weeks ago. He's in Downers Grove playing high school quarterback, long snapper, everything. I mean, it's unbelievable. But no, it takes a unique person to be able to play that jumbo position. But you also have to have the mindset, because now you're playing further away from the football that you normally do. You're approaching blocks differently. You're in pass protection on a defensive end or a blitzing safety, and you're usually on a 3 technique or a shade, and so it is completely different. And so you have to get ready for the game. On a snap of a play, I can be going in, and now I'm playing the rest of the game at a guard, and I'm sitting on the sidelines cold as can be. Now I got to run on the field, and he's not 150 pounds. You got to run on and off the field, but he's as locked in as it gets. Has an unbelievable personality. Like, everybody loves being around Dave, and we know that when he's on the field, good things happen. And so whether it's pass pro or run the ball, the more that David's on the field, good things happen.
Earlier, like in training camp or even in the spring, was that something that he was excited about when you guys maybe came to him and pitched this kind of role?
Yeah, look, I think it helps that, Cromer was with him in Los Angeles, so you kind of know that you got to have a really smart guy that can handle that, a guy that kind of understands, that has length, that can, be able to block some of these different types of defensive ends and stuff. So with that, I wasn't probably involved in some of that conversation with it, but I know that there was a clear vision for him, when you brought him here as, hey, this guy can play, he can be a starting guard in this league, and then he also brings us value in being able to do that. Lot to that.
Ready to make a catch?
What's up?
Is he ready to make a catch?
Turn on the high school highlight tape, you guys will see what kind of athlete he is.